After lunch from 1 to 4 is when we do some of our worst work. A Japanese survey shared that 40% of people, they make the most amount of mistakes from 2 to 4 p.m. Another study by Texas A&M University revealed that office workers tend to make the most amount of typing mistakes in the afternoons. So if you have been scheduling your most important work for the afternoon, then you are basically setting yourself up for an uphill battle against your body's natural clock. The afternoon slump is so real. Over the past 7 years, I've learned and taught my clients different ways to thrive at work and in life. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you 10 important things for you to also thrive in your work and life. I don't know why people don't talk about this. They just throw you into the deep end and you just figure it out on your own. But lucky for you, today we're going to start uncovering some of these. Now, an afternoon dip in energy makes sense, right? After lunch, we might feel some itis, and by 2 in the afternoon, we have already used up quite a lot of focus during the morning. In China, there's a culture of napping after lunch called 午觉. People literally bring sleeping bags or have napping pods at work. In European culture, they call it the siesta, a midday nap. In the West, well, we just chug coffee and push through. Our bodies naturally get tired around this time, and it's a great time to go into slight hibernation to recharge and then get back to work. Google CEO Sundar Pichai swears by non-sleep deep rest, NSDR, which is a 10 to 20 minute recharge you can find for free on YouTube. Harvard also recently came out with a study that shared midday napping can actually help with memory, learning, and even heart health. Just make sure you keep it short, under 30 minutes. If you're not able to rest, then recharge after work with a quick walk, a meditation, or even a 2-minute breathwork session. In the afternoon, I also recommend doing tasks that are not as important and don't require a lot of effort, like email, admin, or repetitive tasks. Now, on the other hand, you want your high priority, focus required tasks scheduled in the morning. These are the tasks that require near 100% accuracy, and they really drive the needle forward. They build momentum. Your brain is the sharpest in the morning. Japanese psychiatrist Kawasawa Shion says that between 9 to 10 is our prime time focus window. The work you do before lunch can take double the time if you push it later into the day. And now, before some of you come at me and say, but Nicole, I'm so tired and groggy in the morning, I'm laser sharp at night, I'm just gonna ask you, did you actually give yourself, your body, more than just weeks, but months of time to adjust to rising and sleeping with the sun? Did you actually give yourself enough time to adjust to a morning riser lifestyle? Because here's the thing, when we wake up, our brains have just gone through an entire night of clearing out of the metabolites, the garbage. It is now a clean, fresh slate. It's kind of like a fresh, cleared off table, ready to focus in and do some good work. You have a ton of energy and you have no fatigue debt built up yet. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the most important high priority task that really drives things forward? Schedule that in during your morning so that you're working with your body's natural rhythm. And I had to learn this the hard way. I would check my emails first thing in the morning, which would mean my focus would go, whoo. It would become very scattered. And the second thing is I would literally open up my email browser and keep it on my laptop screen as I was staring at my desktop or my monitor screen, so that in the corner of my eyes, I could immediately see when there was a new email, I could open it up and reply when needed. That really killed my focus and productivity big time back then. Now, my third piece of advice is please do not make your job your identity. Working a job is like being in a relationship. Hear me out. Have you ever seen couples who are always sticking together like two peas in a pod? If one cannot make it to an event, then both of them cannot make it to an event. They're always together, almost like 24/7. Now, a healthy romantic relationship actually has spaces in between so that both of them have separate individual lives where they are thriving independently of the other person. A relationship therapist once said that 50% of your free time should be spent on your own, individually, by yourself, with your friends, independent, away from your partner. And that is very healthy, because if you're always together almost like 24/7, then you guys are going to become slightly codependent depending on your personality. When your partner leaves for travel, for work, for good, you're going to be left feeling lonely, insecure, unsafe, and you won't even know who you are anymore without the other person. And the same goes with work. If you revolve your whole life, your identity, your value, your self-worth with work, then what happens if you lose your job? What happens? Like, who are you? Unfortunately, the first thing we do when we meet someone new is we ask them, what do you do for work? And it's because innately we've been conditioned to associate the work we do with our identity. Instead, we have to remember that a 9-to-5 job is just a part of our identity, just a part of our life. It is not the whole package. And that leads me to my next point, which is you want to create a life and identity outside of work. I want you to literally assess everything in your life right now, in your everyday life? What are you doing besides working? And I am praying that there is something beyond just sleeping, eating, scrolling, and Netflix. We work to live, not live to work. When I was working my corporate job, I would always find things to do outside of work. That could be going to the gym, meeting up with friends, learning about personal finances or new things through YouTube, through social media. I would travel to meet friends or even do solo exploring. I encourage you to write a list of every single thing you want to try, even if you have only a sliver of curiosity about, and then circle from that list 1 or 2 things you can immediately take action on right now. There's literally so many free resources out there on YouTube, on any other platform, on learning a new language, an instrument, dancing, anything. You need to sleep 7 to 8 hours, period. Waking up feeling like $1 million is worth so much more than just one more episode. Sleep hygiene and sleep discipline is something we're all struggling with right now thanks to Netflix and social media. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but gone are the days when we can pull off all-nighters and still be fully functioning the next day. We can't do that anymore. You need to sleep 7 to 8 hours for a creative, sharp mind. And the thing people don't get is when we are getting less sleep in, let's say 6 hours, our body will automatically adjust so that we have the capacity to still function on 6 hours of sleep, but it's just not going to be as optimal. And because this adjustment is so natural and so seamless, we can't distinguish the difference between fully operating on 7 to 8 hours of sleep versus 6 hours of sleep. But the truth is your body has so much more potential to operate on more energy. You just have to sleep earlier. That's the only way if you are a human being. And one thing that's helped me is having a phone alarm for 10 or 10:30 so that once it rings, I know I have to go and brush my teeth and start winding down to turn in. I also have another video on improving your sleep hygiene and your quality of sleep. You can check that out after this video over here. Now let's talk about sunlight. 2 minutes of morning sunlight can boost dopamine by 250%, and 5 minutes of sunlight viewing improves your focus and mood. There is now so much more research on how quality natural lighting can do wonders for our bodies and brains to function, to do good quality work, and even helps with depression and anxiety. The fluorescent lights from your office does not replace the sun, and sitting by the windows also is not sufficient. The best way to absorb vitamin D and all the full benefits of the sun is in the early mornings or the late evenings when the sun is still closer, lower on the horizon, because UV rays are the strongest between 10 to 4. We're now living in a vitamin D deficient era with staying indoors with our devices, but vitamin D is an important nutrient to help us fully function to our optimal capacity so that we have the physical, mental, and emotional energy to show up. Those who get more vitamin D also recover from illnesses sooner and they leave the hospital sooner. I always make sure to take my vitamin D supplements, but I'm still going out there for my morning and evening walks. Now you really have to move your body after 8 hours of stillness. 8 hours of sitting is like letting your body rot. Sitting is the new smoking, they say. The famous author and writer Haruki Harakuma said, "If I want to write a large-scale work, increasing my strength and stamina is a must. The main goal of exercising is to maintain and improve my physical condition in order to keep on writing novels." Point taken. A strong and healthy body creates a sharp and creative mind for great quality productive work. Now my 8th tip is keep a record of all of your smallest to biggest wins and all the little things you're proud of yourself for. Don't wait for a big promotion or a big milestone to then celebrate and be proud of yourself. Please document even the smallest things. Keep a wins folder and a physical notebook to document all the things you are proud of yourself for. Maybe you courageously spoke up and shared your thoughts in a meeting even though you were trembling inside. Maybe you have been showing up to do some productive work because you finally implemented a lot of things I've been talking about in this video, like sleeping and doing high quality work in the morning. Maybe you have achieved a small milestone or you had a compliment from a boss or a coworker. Jot that down. We tend to forget about all these tiny little improvements we make in the day-to-day that has helped us build our confidence to become a better version of ourselves day by day. I think it's really sad that we tend to forget about the little achievements and the progress we have made as just a human being, and we put so much focus and emphasis on the 20% revenue growth or that big salary boost. The truth is, there is something for you to be proud of yourself for every single day, even if it's just showing up on a bad day. Having these little moments can increase your confidence and motivation as you remind yourself of the immense value you bring to the table. This is especially important, especially as many of us might feel like cogs in a wheel as we work a 9-to-5 job. Now, my next tip is you want to have a transition activity after work. But first things first, hide that Lenovo laptop, because out of sight, out of mind. During the pandemic, when I was working from home and I was home 24/7, seeing that Lenovo laptop would really kill the mood for me. So what I started doing was hiding it under the sofa, under the bed, and literally that was such a game changer. You gotta first set that physical boundary and then create a mental boundary by doing a transition activity. Now, the transition activity you partake on really depends on what you're feeling after work. So if your energy level is very low and you are really not feeling it that day, you might wanna hop in for a hot shower, or you wanna do a power nap or a yoga nidra, an SDR that I mentioned earlier. If you have some more energy, maybe you go for a walk or you go for a workout class. Now, my final tip for you is you want to create a Thrive list where you list out all of the things that make you so happy, that bring out the warm and fuzzy feelings within you, and pour it all out, brain dump, and see what comes up for you. You might see that some of them include some sort of movement, connection with people, connection with nature. I'm pretty sure doom scrolling is not going to be on the list, so get real and honest. How many of us are actually doing what makes us thrive in life? Nope, we spend a lot of our time feeling sad and anxious, scrolling, watching Netflix, watching the 2% of people's lives. Now, from this Thrive list, I want you to group each of these things into a few different buckets. Things to do every single day, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annually. It is very similar to a dopamine menu. So the next time you're feeling sad, bored, anxious, I want you to, instead of going to your phone, reverting to Netflix, I want you to peep this list and take an activity to do and get a hit of natural dopamine. Alright, so that's it for today's video. Let me know what was most helpful. Let me know if you have another tip that you can share in the comments below so that we can all give ourselves some great 9-to-5 tips that can help us thrive in both work and in life. And also let me know if there's anything you want me to expand on or dive deeper in so I can create that as a future video. But otherwise, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.